Good morning and welcome to More Than Meets the Eye. Today we're going to be covering Age of the Primes, Soulless Prime. And we've got a bunch of other primes to compare Soulless Prime to. And quick update with the death sticks, I am 7 days free. I haven't had one in 7 days. Every day, there's another day added to that. Pretty cool. I'm happy with it. I'm ecstatic about it, actually. And definitely the withdrawals are that sucks. I had a headache for 5 days, and haven't been able to keep my emotions under control completely. So things have been slipping out, and I got in a lot of fights over the weekend over stupid small stuff. But that's just par for the course. I was told when by the tobacco-free Florida people that you were going to experience weird emotions and you were going to act like a dick and in a straight butthole, but your friends and family were just going to have to accept that of you if they wanted you to make a healthy decision. I was called selfish a few times, and I told them straight up, like, yeah, I am being selfish. I'm quitting for myself. By definition, that's selfishness. I'm doing something just for me. I didn't think about anybody else when I did it. I just did it because I wanted to. So I just wanted to mention that it's been tough, but we're doing it. We're moving forward, positive growth here, and that's what this channel is all about. Positive growing. It's about climbing out of the pit of depression and finding out that the world is awesome. And I'm trying to help you do that. And sometimes, I got to climb out of new pits, like, well, the death stick pit I was in. And I'm almost out of the death stick pit, but no worries. I'm here for you if you happen to be climbing out of the death stick pit yourself. I've been through it. I know how it feels, and I'm still going through it. I'm still learning new things about how it feels. So if you need any help with that, hit me up in the comments and ask me questions. I'll gladly answer, because if I can help you out, then that is an amazing thing, and that is an accomplishment for this channel. All right. That being said, this is Cream. He is sleeping off over here to the corner. Cream, why are you so far away? Why are you so far away? People like you, Cream. Yeah, I know. You don't think they do, but they do. Okay, let's get into today's video without further ado. All right, and go below, hit the like button, share, and subscribe. And comment below, letting me know which one of these, what was that? Which one of these is your favorite Prime so far? What fell? Something fell. Right, anyway, let's get to it. So first off, we're going to compare, we'll set Megatronus over there. We'll set Prima over there, and no, Rodimus, no, don't fall. No, Rodimus, don't fall. Thank you. Rodimus, no. Okay. Right, Rodimus, Prima off over here to the side. All right, we got Soulless in the center, and we need our friend Bumblebee. Okay, so first off, comparison time. Bumblebee goes right up to just under the breasts for Soulless Prime. Soulless Prime can also raise her arm up in this thing. Can you, yeah, look at that. Like they're friends, except they're not. Ah! I always like knocking the crap out of Bumblebee. I just enjoy it. So let's go to set 86 Bumblebee down over here out of the way, and let's compare her to the other primes now. Okay, so let's see. That is straighten your arm out. There you are. All right, we got Prima here, which, by the way, I always thought Prima Prime was female, and it did surprise me when I learned that Prima's actually a male. I'm like, but Prima seems like such a feminine word, such a feminine name. I always thought Prima was a male, was a female Autobot, or just a female Transformer. But here we go. Soulless goes up to this little etched area. Actually, at the peak, right at the top of this weird chest thing that Prima Prime's got going on. This odd chest that feels like it's just a giant grill of a truck. Side to side comparison. Prima and Soulless are looking good side to side. Soulless Prime goes. Let's raise your arm up all the way, Prima, and get rid of. Oh, nuts. Oh well. There we go. Yeah, pretty good in my opinion. I think they're just insane how much bigger Prima Prime is than Soulless Prime. That's just wild. Let me put nuts. I got Prima's Matrix of Leadership. I took Hot Rod's stuff that he came with, his Matrix and his Blast Effect, and I put them on Prima. I wanted to mention that on this video real quick. So we're going to set Soulless off to the side, and I wanted to showcase, because no one's really talking about the Matrix Chamber that Prima Prime has, and I wanted to talk about the Matrix Chamber real quick. So you can get your, you feel with your finger down the front of Prima, and there's a little slip that you can pull open and reveal a Matrix chamber. And then there's a Matrix in here. Oh my! That's actually the Matrix that came with Hot Rod. I put the Matrix that came with Hot Rod in there. It doesn't fit too well, but it didn't fit on the sword either. So the one that came with Prima Prime's on the sword, and the one that came with Hot Rod is in Prima's chest cavity. And yay, finally had something to do with that one Matrix of Leadership that was just kind of floating around, who didn't have a chest chamber. There was one Matrix that didn't have a chamber for anyone. There was no chest chamber for it to go in. There was no place for it to live. But Prima Prime showed up with an empty chest chamber. Just show it off again. Yeah. Open it. Yeah, look at it. It opens. Ah, I found it by accident, and I love it. I like this. It's so cool. You got a little bitty chamber for the really crazy Matrix that came with Hot Rod. All right, I just wanted to point that out in case you didn't know about it, because I haven't really heard many people talking about it. I've watched a few videos, and it really hasn't been brought up. I'm like, was that hidden? Because I think it's awesome that there's a Matrix chamber. Now, let's compare Soulless to Rodimus, because everyone compares him to 86 Prime, and I'm like, nah, I'm gonna be different. We're gonna look at Rodimus. Where yes, Soulless. Here we are. Okay, Rodimus to Soulless. Here we go. And Soulless goes halfway up the chest of Rodimus. It's just wild how much bigger Rodimus is. Rodimus can lay his arm kind of across Soulless, but Souless's pauldrons are getting in the way. So we're going to set Rodimus off to the side. And finally, Soulless and her big main squeeze, Megatronus. Now, Megatronus, wow, Souless's head goes right to just below the big old chest plate of Megatronus. Like, size-wise, you're like, whoa, you guys are in a relationship? But then you, like, put them face-to-face, and you have some dirty thoughts, you can see why they're in a relationship. Lower your armor. Hide your shame, Megatronus. Hide your shame. But there they are together, and she can just hang out over here to the side Megatronus. I do also want to point out something, because, I just, nuts. I found it, just blind people problems. I thought the Requiem Blaster was an actual blaster. I didn't realize the Requiem Blaster was a freaking Megatron cannon. I never made that connection before. That something called a blaster was actually a cannon. And like, why didn't you just call it a cannon? Why'd you have to call it a blaster and confuse me with wrong lingo? Blasters are handheld. Cannons are not. So, that's a little flame. We got a little fire from Megatronus here. Just set it on. No, not really many places to put the Megatronus fires. But we can. Actually, you can put the Megatronus fire. Don't drop the fire. And it's got a little siege port on the side of it. And I think you can kind of slip it onto the end of her sword. Not sword. Yeah, there it is. You can kind of put it there, but it's not a tight connection, and it wants to fall off. But you can put a fire down there. Yay! Put a fire on her forge. All right. We'll set the fire off to the side and knock something over, because we always knock things over here at blind_prime. Let's go ahead and remove her accessory. Her forge that comes in 3 parts. We've got this thing that reminds me a lot of a thermal detonator. And then we have a bar, and then we have the top of the hammer. And we have her. Let's go ahead and bring out the handy-dandy Lego pad to take a look at how big she is compared to everybody else we've talked about. There we go. And she is 18 studs tall. 18 studs tall. Now, for reference, we're going to bring out Megatronus one more time, because I wanted to show how insane Megatronus's leader class is. Like, just how insanely big this thing is. So we're going to go over here to his head. We're just slide it in the front, and there we go. Head goes right there. Isn't that wild? Isn't that freaking insane? Look how big you are. Megatronus is huge. There it is. It's right there. Okay? And oh, that's weird. How did that get different? Are you bent down or something? Because I measured you twice before, and this wasn't right. All right, there we go. Straightened out. All right, let's set this up to the side and measure your head there. Right? Yeah. Okay. All right, so Megatronus is 2 studs shorter than Grimlock. The big line I have on this is Grimlock, who is the tallest leader class, and I could have sworn Megatronus was taller than that, but apparently I am wrong. Megatronus is just a teeny bit shorter, three studs shorter than Grimlock. I just wanted to showcase that. If you had any ideas on like how big Grimlock was compared to Megatronus, there you go. Megatronus is a big butt. Nope, Megatronus, don't you fall. Bad Megatronus. Bad Megatronus. Stay together. Thank you. Okay. Now, let's get into today's video, the meat and dirty of it, the meat and potatoes of it, I should say. And please, like the video, share, and subscribe. Now, let's talk about her. First off, we like to talk about the feet. And this guy, her feet, Soulless Prime's feet, no hollowness. It's all just solid foot with 2 siege ports. I think that's cool. I like the fact that there are some ports under there, but I also like the fact that this is the first legs in a long time that don't have huge hollow chunks in them. I like also that the wheel for her is sitting on the back of her leg. She's got some neat ankle tilt, and she's got double kind of weird knees. We can talk about that real quick, but one of them is hard to get because it's a transformation, so it's more like a broken leg syndrome thing. You can just kind of bend this to have it, have her leg broken or something like that. She's also got a knee that pulls a little more than a 90, but not much more than that. And her waist pulls 90 at the side, can do just a bit more than a 90 going forwards, and can do like 45 degrees going back because of the backpack thing that she's got going on there. All right, let's lower your apron down and talk about this sculpt work, because I do want to talk about this. This is awesome. So she's got this weird spiky thing on her foot, but that is because she's like a desert dweller, I'm assuming. And that is a really cool thing that they do in the desert to keep sand from piling up on top of your shoe. It like splits around that point, and instead of every time you take a step in soft sand and it like halfway buries your foot and then you get sand inside your shoe, this keeps the sand out, and I think that's really neat. And it's also a new type of foot, and I enjoy that. I enjoy that a lot. Tired of the same old, and I'm glad we got a different look at this stuff. We got something new, something neat, and something deserty. It was fun. And we come up here to her legs. We got where the wheel is. There's not really much going on that part of the leg. It's just some decent textures and stuff, but for the most part, it just fills the leg out quite nicely. We come up here to the leg mane, near the knee and stuff, and we've got an amazing leg. Look at this thing. It's just, we got a vent going on either side of it. We've got this wonderful armor sculpt work that comes up to a really nice kneecap, and it feels great in the hand. This is some high quality plastic. The joints are really stiff. She feels great. I love how this character feels in my hand. Now, she does have a waist rotation, and looking at her thighs, we do get a bit of sculpt work in the front of the thigh area. On the back, we get a bit more. It's really rough back there, and it feels nice. And I appreciate that. Like I have mentioned all the time that the thighs never get enough love. And, this is one of those cases where I do wish there was a bit more. And honestly, I think what I would like the most of would be like a siege port on the side of the thigh. I always love it when they give us a siege port on the thigh, so you can like store weapons and stuff on it, like a hip holster. And it always makes me happy when they do that. Now, coming up here to the front of her, we've got this apron that comes down, and the apron's got some really, really well done texturing in it. It is 3 individual parts that all have, that are all on joints, so they can all move around and stuff. But the most important part about it is just how it feels, and they could have just given us some like flat plastic going down, but did they? No, no. That's because Evan and Mark are good people whenever it comes to sculpting, and they went about making sure this is just it's just the bee's knees right there. I like this little odd bit. What is? It's not. It's asymmetrical too. Like there's just this little area that pops up. It pops, and it's not the same on the other side. I love the fact that this is an asymmetrical. Even though, its shape is symmetrical, the textures in there are asymmetrical. And that's fun for the apron. Now we come up here to the chest area, and we have her kind of ab area. No ab crunch or anything like that. And we come up here to the chest. We've got more of this kind of layers of armor that make up the apron that she's wearing, because this is her blacksmithing robe kind of thing. And I do wish that we had gotten like a separate piece that we could just attach to her shoulders and would flow down the front of her, and then we could take that away so that she would be, without the apron and stuff when she wasn't in the forge. But oh well, we'll have to deal, and somebody will probably knock these guys out, like knock that pin out or something. I do say that there is a missed opportunity here with this apron. They could have put it on a separate waist swivel so that the excuse me about that, so that this could just slide to her back and rest on the back of her legs, and then we would have been able to get all of this wonderful sculpt work really seen with her when her apron's gone, because there's some nice stuff going on for this robot, and it's a little sad that the apron hides so much of it. Now, the on her chest, she does have breasts, which I still think are weird. Like they definitely weird me out a bit, because I'm like, but that's a mammalian characteristic. I don't know how Cybertronians, especially the first Cybertronians, on a planet far from Earth, at a time before I don't even think mammals existed on Earth yet, and you introduce these mammalian things. So I guess this now brings up the thought process of, wait, so did Transformers come before humans, and the only reason humans look the way they look is because the Transformers designed them to look like the Transformers? So they designed the female humans to look like the female Transformers? That's what I've got, all right? That's where my processing's going, because this is older than humanity, according to the storyline. So therefore, her characteristics are what humanity's characteristics are based on. Isn't that weird? Well, that's my weird thought of the day, that's for sure. Moving up here to her face, and we've got a really it's Emma Frost like, that's for sure. It's like spiky. It feels like she's got a stern face. Like I'm not getting like too much friendliness out of this face. I'm getting a person who knows what her job is and is very professional about her job, and not a person who laughs and has fun too much. Now, it may be the case she does, but I'm just saying what her face kind of gives me the impression of. And her face is stern. She's got like this glass cutting face. I mean, I swear her nose could probably cut glass. It's so razor thin. It's just so sharp. She's got a sharp face. That's it. That's the term for it. It's sharp. Now, Perspective In mentioned that she has hair, and I didn't even think about it, but you spin her head around and we do get hair. But I wasn't thinking hair whenever I first came across this. I was thinking heat sinks, because she's working with molten material, and her brain cavity, her microchips and stuff, however a Transformer's brain works, I'm pretty sure it gets overheated and it needs a place to bleed off extra heat. So that's what I thought with all these ridges on the back of her head. I was thinking all this was just, heat sinks. And why couldn't the hair just be heat sinks? It just happens to look like hair. And we, because we're humans, are associating it to be hair. But in all actuality, it's not hair at all. It's just a way for heat to be dispersed evenly, and for her inner processors not to melt due to the insane temperatures that she's building some of these artifacts at. That's my thought process on it. But otherwise, wonderful head. Articulation-wise, it can look up decently. It can look down all right. It can pull an exorcist. And it can crack left and right. I think it's decent articulation there. Now for the arms, They can rotate kind of, but there's you got to move the pauldron around in order to get the rotation correct. The arms do raise up to about a 90, and they have an elbow that is at 90, and there is a bicep swivel right above the elbow joint. And then down here to the hand can wiggle back and forth, and it can also rotate. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Excellent articulation. It's not the least amount of articulation I've seen, and neither is it the most amount of articulation I've seen. So definitely middle of the road when it comes to articulation, and my stomach is rebelling. it's hungry. So now we come around here to the back and talk about this. Now, I didn't talk about too much of the feel of the front of her, but there's not really much going on. It just feels like, a lot of that more, apron stuff. There's a lot more of the apron armor that she wears to keep her body protected from, molten metal and sparks and stuff. But on her back, we've got a very clean, very fresh backpack. I just snapped it into place because it had popped out. But that is a clean backpack. I love how smooth that is. And I do find it funny that it flares out around her butt so that she has a bit of a more pronounced rear end. She's got a bit of a badonkadonk about her. But when you lock her backpack into place like I just did, it does inhibit her ability to rotate at the waist. Just an FYI. So that is Soulless Prime, and here is her accessory. It is a really cool little hammer. We've got a spiky end. We've got a flat end that's got some really nice ridges textured into it. We also got something that feels like the Matrix, like this round part of the Matrix of Leadership, etched into the side of her hammer. And the hammer comes in 3 pieces. You can take it off from the bar, and then the bar comes apart from the bottom bit. That the bottom bit feels more like a grenade than anything else. Like, I don't know what that's all about. And I'm wondering if we're going to find out later, like, if some of these parts and pieces from the armors, or at least these artifacts, can actually combine together or something. I'm very interested to find out more about it, but that is Soulless Prime. I'm going to give this action figure a grade of an A+. I think this is an exceptional robot mode for a deluxe class. It's got all the things. It's really well done on the textures. The pauldrons alone are just amazing. I love her Piccolo pauldrons. They make me happy. I like the Piccolo pauldrons, and of course you can fold them down if you don't want her to have such large pauldrons. If you want her to go through thinner doorways, you can fold them down across her arms. I just like the fact that it seems a lot of the primes, even Prima, wherever I put him, he's got crazy pauldrons on his shoulders. Yeah, you do. You got some insane pauldrons. You can also fold them up against the side of your arm. So I like the pauldrons. I think it's a fun touch, and she just has so much character. I enjoy her, and I hope that if you get her, you enjoy her just as much as I do. But I have blathered on about Soulless Prime long enough for today. Tune in tomorrow, where I will be going over her transformation verbally, step by step, so that you can follow along with your ear and transform along with your own if you happen to have one. And we'll, of course, talk about the parts that fall off tomorrow, because without fail, they will fall off during the transformation, and that is definitely going to affect her overall grade. Until next Prime, I've been Blind Prime, and this big orange thing sleeping over here to the side has been Cream the Cat. Bye-bye for now.